Steph's Rock Show on Spotify, Instagram, and YouTube. Welcome, Dom of July Crowd.
Hi, thanks for having me, Steph.
How's your day going?
Day's good. It's a overcast, kind of gloomy day, perfect for staying inside and I don't know, doing music stuff.
Where are you at?
I'm currently at my place in Calgary. I've got a place in BC and a place in Alberta in Canada. So I'm
I
currently
was
at
just talking
the
about
Calgary
Canada.
one.
So I don't know why on Spotify, the majority of my listeners are in Canada. Hey, now I'm going to get more Canadians. So thank you for
It's
sending
because
them my way.
it's because it's cold and there's nothing else to do.
That's a great point. It's freezing and you can't go outside, so you just listen to Spotify and podcasters more often. Well, hey, thank you for Canadians for listening. You're giving me, plays, so I'm stoked. So tell us about July Crowd. It's got a pop punk s sound, and how did it get started?
Oh yeah. It's very much that thing. It lives in sort of the like 2000s MTV inspired, maybe like late 90s, early 2000s MTV world of inspiration, because that's what we grew up listening to. I mean, MTV was on my TV all the time, so I'm watching these music videos. Like this is all stuff that I grew up with. But when we started our band, which was sort of 2020, 2021, it was during pandemic time, and um, we really had the chance to evaluate what we were trying to write, and the music that we were writing was just starting to sound like this stuff, maybe without meaning to. And we're like, well, let's just like go in this direction. Clearly, subconsciously it's trying to go this way, so let's just really push it and go for it, visually, and then also like with how we do the live shows and stuff like that. So it kind of just became a pop punk band because I think we grew up just all loving this stuff.
Yeah, it magically turned into that. Are you self-taught with music, or did you go get lessons?
Uh, a little bit of both. So I sing and I play guitar in the band. I my most of my vocal stuff. I mean, it took some uh like lessons slash a little bit of training when I was younger, which I gotta say helped me immensely when jumping into the live performance end of playing in bands. Like it learning the breathing, learning a lot of that stuff. Even just like the foundation stuff really helps me, because especially as I'm trying to push, what I can sing, or maybe like not just how high, but like how long I can hold notes or how well I can perform on stage. That foundation learning really helped me. I think I would like to do more learning. I took guitar lessons and stuff when I was a young kid, like super young, like 5 years old until I don't know, 10 or so.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I learned some, again, foundational stuff, but I'm not a like super, I'm not going to pretend to be like a super shredding fast, like awesome player. I'm very sort of rudimental. Like I'm good at coming up with stuff. I'm good with like playing power chords, staying tight, that kind of thing. Um, but I'm not flying around the fretboard. I've played with like way better guitarists than me and shared the stage with awesome performers that completely shred. I'm not that guy. I don't pretend to be that guy. But lessons, I think like that stuff helped me learn, or my teachers definitely helped me learn a little bit about what being in the music industry would be like, or kind of what being involved in playing would have to do with. And I think that knowledge helped me even more than learning the instrument itself from them.
Oh, that's fascinating. Just going in for the lessons, but learning more from their life experience of playing in bands and how to tour and connect was even more beneficial than learning the musical knowledge that you acquired.
Totally. I was probably more fascinated about that than actually learning this. So I probably spent too much time, and I don't think my folks who were paying for that when I was a kid would be too happy about
Ah,
the
you're like, tell me the
amount of
backstage stories. So, have you guys toured in the States yet?
no. That is absolutely a goal for us next year and forward. But no, we have not had a chance to come play in the States yet. Only sort of Western Canada at this time.
So, you're going to have to hit me up when you guys come to California, Sacramento, and I need to check a show out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We will make our way down there. It is it's well in the future, I think, still, but solidifying our touring options going into the US starting next year is something that is on our radar.
And can everyone get across the border? Is anyone a felon or anything?
Oh, that's a really good question. So though I have some good
Clearly.
stories, our guys are all good
Okay.
to come across. So yeah.
Nobody is a mule and can't go across the border, so
No, but we've made mistakes trying before and got in trouble. Nick and I
No,
had a bad
I
time
hear
trying
so
to
many
cross.
stories. That's what fascinates me. Like, it's really difficult to go from Canada to the US and US to Canada. Mexico is ridiculous, right? You can drive and walk right down and drive and walk right back. But if you're going up north, they take it very seriously. I mean, if you have a DUI from 10 years ago, they won't let you into Canada. It's intense. So if you want a tour, you got to watch your P's and Q's and not get in trouble.
Oh yeah, they're stiff with us, but Canada border control for Canadians is very smooth to get in usually. Even if you're missing things or something happened, they're usually pretty good at letting you back in. But if you're coming in, obviously that's a bit different.
Okay, I wanna ask you to pick this band or that band, okay?
Oh
With
boy, I'm
3
gonna get in
different
trouble for this. Let's do it.
okay, Green Day or Offspring?
Green Day by default, and only because the first CD I ever had when I was a kid was Green Day's Dookie, the '95 album, and I was way too young to have it. But my parents bought it for me because it had cartoons on it, and they thought it was for kids.
They thought it was kid friendly, but they didn't know Billy is not kid friendly. Okay, Blink-182 or Lit?
Um, I'm gonna go Blink 182 only because of influence, but man, I love the Lit live show and the whole thing too. They're very dialed in on who they are, so that's really, really close. I'll give Blink
And
the
you
edge.
guys have, like, a Blink-182 sound. I hear it a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit in that world, but man, that one's the closest I think I've been.
Because you guys were giving me that, like, late '90s, early 2000s, I don't know, band vibe, so that's why I wanna ask, like, the bands that I heard your music, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm thinking of this." Okay, Alien Ant Farm or Smash Mouth?
Smash Mouth, 100%.
All right.
I yeah, everything in the production for the Smash Mouth stuff is so dialed. But I was just watching an Alien Ant Farm thing yesterday, so that's funny. But I gotta go with Smash Mouth.
I've interviewed Steve of Smash Mouth. He was a really rest in peace fun guy, really cool. But I gotta say, Alien Ant Farm for me is one of those underrated bands that I love. I've seen them live a couple times and they just never really exploded. And I don't get why. That happens a lot, right? With a lot of different bands where I'm like, they're so talented and they sound just like their record live. And I'm like, why didn't they get to be headliner? Like they kind of stayed at an opener for 20 years. And I don't know why that happens.
Well, they just did that Adobe thing super recently, and it was terrific. And especially like the vocal performance seems to be getting better and better from
Yeah.
like from them. I just uh yeah,
Hey,
I
now
understand
you're
what
an
you mean.
all-star though. That's
Yeah,
the
no, I gotta go Smash Mouth and also rest in peace because that's
yeah.
okay.
That guy could party, I
Oh
will
yeah.
say, man. And if yeah, a lot of same with Eddie Money. Like when the announcements come, I feel bad, but like working behind the scenes for so long, I'm like, oh yeah, that does make sense. That guy partied really hard all day, all night. Not like, oh, after the show, we're gonna start raging. No, he woke up and started partying. I can't hang like that. I am having one beer, but that's the extent of my raging nowadays.
Yeah, I feel that. That's right.
So, did you guys grow up together in the band and were you guys friends for a while or did you kind of meet through music later on?
We were friends first, I think. We all met sort of just after high school, going like as we were kind of going into college years together. Specifically, Nick and I also kind of started the foundation of the thing, and yeah, I mean, we were just sort of like playing in his basement, playing on I don't know, put an electric guitar and an electric drum kit together, and covering like well, a lot of these songs that you were talking about with Lit and bands like Goldfinger, just like some of those things that were like, oh, we love listening to this stuff. We connected on the music right away, and then we were just sort of playing together. It led later into writing, and I don't think we anticipated that because we were really just having fun at the time. But I'm always surprised by how that escalated because I don't think I intended for it to happen. It just sort of did. And now looking back, it totally makes sense. But at the time, it was this like really casual journey up until the pandemic time when we couldn't be playing or we couldn't play like at the bar anymore or something. And we had to, um, well, we didn't have to, but we had the chance to sort of look in and go, hey, maybe we could, do something intentional with this instead of just casually playing covers here, there, doing these things that we like.
There's an interesting correlation that I'm just learning about through this new podcast, that the pandemic did 2 things, one good, one bad. The bad things is it slowed down the live shows. The performances really took a halt, but the good thing is a lot of bands got together and met and wrote and created and even got online and started making music from Zoom. So I feel like it started a lot of projects, even though we were like, "Oh, I wanna see more music. I wanna get out there to shows." But there is some creative juices that were positive from being holed up at home.
Totally. I think it opened doors in, I mean, in the music industry in general for younger people to get into, a music scene that's sometimes, depending on city to city, can be a little gate kept or can be like hard to get into because there's all these established sort of guys that have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 plus years, whether it's working on the other end or trying to play in like the artist end. I think it kind of opened a like a level playing field for everybody where everybody had to figure out how to do it online for a little bit. And then once once restrictions lifted or something and you could get back out and playing in some format, then it was sort of a new slate. A lot of venues had either, unfortunately closed or changed or adjusted to the modern thing. And so everyone kind of had a more level playing field. And I think the best or, the most eager talents, the ones that were willing to work the hardest, found success right away, and the ones that didn't want to work as hard maybe had a harder time getting back into it.
Yeah, no, I vibe that. Well, thank you, Dom, so much for coming by Steph's Rock Show podcast. And we will tag you and put all the links on the interview. And you guys let me know when you come into the States.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure we check in with you. Thanks for having me on this. This is super cool. I'm
Oh,
super
yeah.
grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for swinging by. Have a good rest of your day.